All right, I've got a beautiful old American Lockwood with a pretty horrendous bitting with a keyword to match. This one is from the 1940s, 1950s, one of the two. New World stock was still in a box until I got it. It had been just sitting that way forever. So try and pick it with this Lawlock Tools something. Now, even though this QA looks really intimidating, you can slip down the back and then rotate around a bit. And you can slide up and around through the wadding. So we come up to the back. Get a click there. Click in front of that. Then we can come forward a bit. Try and get these front ones. Feels like we must be close. Unless we've overset one of these. Well, we'll just pulse off that tension a bit. I felt something drop. Just go through and give them all a bit of a tap. And there we go. Now I'm just caught on the actuator at the back, but there we go. So that's pretty much the hardest bitting of one. I've got a couple others of these that I haven't played with, mostly because I figured, that one's the same bitting. Got another one here where, that's a much easier bitting. So I figured if I'm going to pick one, I'll pick the hardest one. I have not pulled this apart yet. I am interested to see exactly what it looks like. I know it's just going to be standard pins, but it's a piece of interest to compare this to the Australian Lockwoods, as this is where they originated from. Oh, stiff. The flat blades. No, I'd say I'm a fan of flat blades generally. Oh, come on. They're really easy to ruin the screws on flatheads. Mind you, Phillips line always much better. Alright, get this actuator piece off the back. Cut my fingernails, which is just not helping. Come on. Oh, that was on very nicely. Alright, so let's get a key in that. I highly doubt we're going to need a shim, but I'd hate to ruin a vintage lock like this by not using one. So let's get one in there. It's going to be a tight fit, I think. It might be too tight. That would work. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins. Has got capacity for 6. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, actually, let's just see. That was in there at number 3. So, no zero lift by any means. Still has to be attended to. Just don't want to overlift it. So it looks like these have got that same kind of tapered key pin the Australian Lockwoods have. That's the same. Little bit of a bevel there on the chambers. A little bit of graphite in them. Australian Lockwood at least used to be lubed with graphite. Seems the American ones are the same. All right. Okay, looking at that. So that is just a standard pin. There is no taper on that whatsoever. Which, yeah, a little bit rounded too. So that's what sets that different from the Australian Lockwood. The Australian Lockwoods have a... May as well do this a speedy way. Have that taper on the driver as well, which makes them a lot harder. You've got to keep tapping. So just arrange those. I mean, they're standard pins. I knew they were going to be standard. They're not the most exciting thing to look at in the world, but it's interesting to be able to have picked both of these now, the American and a bunch of Australians, to be able to compare them. Had been wanting to get one of these for a while. So there we have it. They are beautiful with that old script. Okay, so there's a pin close up. So you can see that very obvious taper on the top of those key pins, but just purely standard drivers. And springs. So there you go. That is a very nice American Lockwood. And there's a shot down the keyway. So you can see it's quite bad, but you still do have room to really wiggle a pick up and around through that warding. Like it is wide enough. So there you go.